Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Rao coming to you live on several platforms together. I hope you are all doing well. And today I was inspired by something I heard on the Mundaka Upanishads. The statement says the greatest fulfillment in humans is always available. You know, what do they mean? They mean the inward Atman, our soul, our Brahman. You know. Hi, Alka. Welcome. So this is always available near us, and I would say easily attainable or recognizable or discoverable, any of that, because the lifestyle's evolved into where it will take you away from it, right? So you got to really go through kind of scrutiny of where we are, what we are doing, and all that. If we keep ourselves occupied with uh, lots of activities that may not allow you to have the time or interest or energy to really turn and find out who we are, right? Um, I was initiating a topic like this, fulfillment, as a topic. My question is, what is the fulfillment you are looking for? Kind of, what is the North Star that you have to guide you through the life to find out whatever it is? It could be your meaning of life, your purpose, or your um, set goal, whatever that appeals to you as something like a North Star guiding your life, right? It could differ to different people because at several stages of my life I had different goals. It could be getting into the medical school was the major goal initially, and then after I got into the medical school, established my own clinic, running things and all that. That was the thing. And then the marriage and the kids, and then getting them raising and doing the stuff for them so that they will be uh, doing whatever they want to do in life. But then they change, right? So we cannot say which use group is going to have what we may call them after we have passed through that. We should have been doing this, but at the time that may not appealing to them. So it's not like we're going to set up something that you got to do this way. That's not the idea of this room. The idea of fulfillment is just to dig out whether anybody had a thought like that, uh, and if they are doing it, was there any wisdom that is already available to us that we could use in those situations. But one thing I was going to talk about is I wanted to introduce to you. If you already know it, that's fine. Otherwise, the people who do not know this, I just want to present this. What it is they talked about four ways that ancient Indians had. They called them Purusharthas. Okay, Purusha means human being. Artha means meaningful pathways. Right? They could do any path that they want. So, for convenience sake, let me describe them, and then it will make a lot more sense for you after you hear them. Right? The first one is everybody tries to make a living or make a money or run a business or whatever it is. The aim is to make some money or collect some riches. It could be money, it could be buildings, it could be, it used to be cows, it could, things like that. Various things you collect to have that economic security that you are pursuing, or some means of enjoyment, money should be there, that kind of thing, even ordinary thing like a food, clothing, and shelter, and all that. Okay, so but I'm, you know what I'm talking about. But then it may not be just the collection of the money, but it could be collection of some name and fame, collection of some roles that you want to know by, or you want to be known by a writer with your writings. Any of those collections are called ardha, right? And that's one category. People can, most of the people do engage in that, but many people may not find even time away from that livelihood and all that, because they're stuck there, right? They have to do that. And then in corporate world these days, when I go for the corporate wellness, one of the things I find them is people have this burnout from the work, right? uh, and then they really don't have any time to even to stop and listen to a lecture like this, even if we say that, this is a, where will I get the time, they would say all the time. The second path that was talked about in the ancient times was innocent pleasures. Okay, you can enjoy things that are outside of you, a movie, a book, a beach, a partner, any number of things, right? So pursuing pleasure, you know and that has become big deal all over the world, right? So that is there. Both these paths, they must be done in a righteous way, in a way that is agreeing with the universal law, not away from it, right? So that is called dharma. So artha, kama is the pleasure, and dharma, artha, kama, these three. The deal with them is they can be okay at the time or pursuing, but then they are temporary in terms of giving us lasting pressure, lasting security, none of that. Usually people become, mortified or disillusioned, or not having the same kind of happiness when they do the things and all that. So somebody aims for a promotion or some kind of um, breakthrough in the career, where they can go to the higher stages and all that. When they are struggling for it, they are enjoying the process. But when they reach the goal and they acquire the promotion, they are no longer having that happiness with that, right? That's pretty evident. That's why a lot of people in mid-age, they have midlife crisis. Women also, when the kids go away from the home and they have midlife crisis or empty nest syndrome, we give different names, right? Some people may come out of it, but general I'm talking about. So artha, that's the accumulation of riches, and kama, that is pleasures in the world. Both are fine as they're happening, but they're limited and they can lose their freshness. They can lose their longevity also. All right. So people will be kind of looking at what else is there. This is where I think the Eastern cultures really portrayed this as moksha or liberation. So some people do that individually, and then they achieve that liberated state with intense spiritual practices and all that. But now we have this knowledge way where you can understand, you can think about it deeply, and you can test it out, and then you will find out that your mind is freed from all that, you know bondage that we have. So that is supposed to be long lasting, and that's supposed to transcend your suffering, and also introduce you to unalloyed unalloyed happiness that is within. See, the notion that we pursue happiness outward was how we were raised. At least that's what we saw. And then we strived for it. We strive to get the knowledge, like in any degree or something, and then establish some kind of means of earning that money, and then accumulate for all sorts of material things and all that. But at the end of it, you find like, what is there? I feel so empty. I have no meaning. I have no purpose in life. That kind of thing people end up in. That's the midlife crisis we were talking about earlier, right? So, but then the act of liberation, the striving towards it, and when you really have this clarity dawn on you, then you would be really transcending the suffering. That's what they were talking about. And also, you will be realizing the true happiness that is within us, that was covered by our egoic tendencies. And once we layer them out, then immediately it feels like, yeah, I was able to uh, close to this and I did not realize. That's why the saying I picked up this morning was, the greatest fulfillment in human beings is always available. It is covered by our own mind, but once you peel it off, that cover, this is underneath there. But that has to be recognized or realized that it is already there, but they have to realize, everybody, by doing an inner search, going inward by themselves. There is no there's no shortcut for this. Or if somebody tells you that there's a shortcut, they are leading you the wrong way. It has to be done by you, by your intuition, by turning inward. And that requires, you have to have an ethical and moral life, and withdraw your attention from the external things going on in your life, and make room for yourself to be able to sit down and then turn your attention to inward. What is going on? What kind of thoughts I have? What kind of feelings I have? What kind of conclusions I have? Uh, are there patterns of thinking? Are there tendencies that I have developed? All those things you have to understand and overcome them. Let them go. So once you do that, this was a debate, because a lot of people said, okay, we can organize this, we can organize people to come and take courses, training, and books and all that. But uh, real, sages, if you go, for me, it was Ramana Maharshi. He said, there's nothing like that. And then this Yogananda, yeah, he went to visit him and he asked him this question: can we organize these things and then help people to realize themselves? He said, no, unfortunately, they have to do it by themselves, by their own volition, by really understanding what is what, by going through the cobweb of their web. All those clarifications will dawn on them. Then they'll feel like they discovered it. It's already there. They realized it. So that realization has to be done by your own intuitive knowledge, and then intuitiveness, and you will be landing in that. And that is always there, but we were never aware of it. We were never landed in that. So that's why this statement is very true, and also is so close by. And the important thing is not how much you do that, it is how much you have obstacles that you built up over a lifetime. You can see and clear them up. The moment you see them, they are gone. That's the knowledge is like light. The moment you switch it on in a dark room, darkness is gone. It is that magical. But that's individual experience. You don't have to take it like that. But one thing is for sure is turning inward, turning with intuition, and realizing ourselves. That is definitely liberating and makes you very light, because you are not stirring up all this past or traditions and all that. So it's a beautiful thing. And the other thing is, because most of the suffering is through the mind, and the mind is transcended, your suffering, the reactions, not that things won't come at you, but you will get them. It's like a pain is compulsory, it will be there, but suffering is optional. That's what they say, right? So that's a kind of position that the ancient have taken, and that's why they had a simpler outward life and went and made themselves sit in meditation or penance, they call it, and they explored these universal truths inside their mind, and then a lot of good things came out. Only thing is science is going out and ancient wisdom is going in. So it's kind of difficult. Just because you're a clever scientist or excellent, brilliant mathematician, you may not have this intuition to go back and touch that. So all the things that we accumulate externally as qualification, as a well-read, or a lot of things like that, they may not be valuable here. You got to calm your mind. You got to purify your mind. You got to focus your mind. That's where the practice of yoga and all these things come about. So suppose if you started your pure heart, which is true with your kids, and then you kind of put that pure heart aside by allowing the brain to develop and then also protect outward. And that's what we do, studying, doing our life and all that. Then you never have touch with this real self that is close to you. And then you will go through all sorts of problems created by the mind and suffer. But when you have this clarity, then you have transcended the suffering, and actual happiness that was inside will come out. That's the premise of them. But you got to discover it by yourself. Be moral, be ethical, then be strong physically. um, See the senses and mind, and withdraw them inside of you, and then sit down in meditation and find out what is inside of you. It takes years, probably it takes decades also for some people, but some people may do that just like that. There are people who have this self-realization spontaneously, and nobody need to tell them anything, right? There's a lot of uh, principles about it, but we don't know. I don't know, at least, so I didn't gather. But what they suggested was that everybody has this consciousness. That consciousness reflects in our daily activities. But if you can turn inward and recognize that, the piece of that within us, they call it Atman. And if you can do that, then all the things, everything, what you will not have is the mind reacting to them, right? If the mind reacting is not there, then you have suffering gone down. And also, it's not only suffering getting away or transcending the suffering, that means you understood and transcended, it won't bother you anymore. And getting this inner immense joy, that is real. And people have to experience for themselves, So that's what I think we should be talking about. So this topic I'm going to do a few more days. I already opened in the uh, Wisdom app, no vibe. Independently, I did it at 4 o'clock because they asked for it. And then I'm going to ask questions like, what is fulfillment? How do you get taste it or feel it? Uh, then what are the steps towards that? You know the definition, you know how, but then you want to know the details of that process, and then according to the ancients, right? And then if you really realized your fulfilled self and you felt fulfilled, then what? That's an important question too. And also, how do you develop your mind so that it is pure and focused? See, this is like a knowledge yoga, like so you got to have the knowledge to dispel the darkness, otherwise you are stuck in. By doing that, by kind of focusing on what's going on in our mind, we can resolve them. So you meditate means you kind of follow those thought patterns and let them go. You don't slip into the sleep, right? A lot of people do that. If they are not alert and aware while they're meditating, they kind of slip into that too. So that is possible. That is how people can realize themselves. And there are so many systems that people develop over the centuries. So these things are not there just from yesterday or 200 years of this modern science. They were there for thousands of years, 20, 30,000, like that. But in the recorded or known history is like a 5,000 years or maybe 2,000 years, whatever. So all these were discussed by several of people now, so that many of the ordinary people who don't have this agenda in their life, they may be just existing, not really opening the mind and the heart and then really going after what is important for us. Okay, so so there's going to be a series of talks on this, and then we're going to talk about what it is, how it is acquired, how it can be dispelled, what are the things that we can do for the patients, and how can we don't go through the stress and worry and everything that everybody goes through. Okay, that's the aim of this talks. So that's where I will stop for today, is because I didn't want to go beyond 30 minutes today. It's already 6:25, and I'll tell you more about this topic that I'm going to gather now. Uh, See, is there too much importance on the material things, and that's why people are not able to turn inward and be spiritual, like we are asking? Is there more suffering because these systems are imposed on these people? That's also there. And is there some way we can replace all this uh, with all the artificial things that we are making, right? Like for the meditation, we have an app, or for breathing, we have an app. I think they are okay to start with, but once you start with it, go back into your natural self so that you can have that as your own something that you achieved during the practice, right? So we will discuss all that, and we'll also find out how valid this four pathway that ancient talked about. And also, finally, I would like to welcome everybody to share their journey. I think everybody has their own journey, and they have different goalposts of this whole self-realization process. Uh, Mind you, it's not a crime or anything if you don't have it, but this can give you clarity, the north star of yours, and you know the path, you know how to walk about, you know how to take. All those things are very wonderful. And if you are not stressed out and if you are not burnt out with these measures that you are doing, you will not only improve your health, but also you will improve your contribution, and thereby help the company and the family. And you can really growing, because you are learning a lot more things. And all those things are possible. The original Upanishad Sanskrit text said, "Atyadika dukkha nivrutti paramananda prapti." That means Atyadika means extraordinary, dukkha means suffering, nivrutti, stopping it. Paramananda prapti is where the Sita is kind of, gains their own ananda, they call it, the joyous nature of everybody that comes up from within. Okay, so Atyatika Dukha Nivritti Paramananda Prapti. That means extreme bliss is possible by releasing our mind from our hangouts, from our tendencies and all that. Okay, so join me every day as I discuss this topic at length, and inviting my friends also to come and tell me, is this sensible for them, or is this something they want to engage in, or if they are already engaged in this kind of search, and then they can share their stories. So Alka and Kristen, if you guys want to come up, you're more than welcome to come up. And I already told that I did not invite them, so I'm inviting them. If they don't want to come, that's fine. Then it's almost half an hour since we started this room, so I'll wait for a few minutes and then. Hi, Christopher.
Hello, Dr. Ralph.
How
How
are
are
you?
you?
Hi,
How are you doing this evening?
I'm great. How are you, Christopher?
I am doing good.
Mm.
It's always good to hear your voice and your expertise.
What do you think about this topic that we selected, though?
Um, yeah, that's pretty interesting. I
Mm.
am a man of humanity,
Mm.
and unfortunately,
Yeah.
not to say unfortunately, but a lover of all human beings.
Yeah.
I am optimistic
Yeah.
overall, pessimistic over
Yeah.
humanity.
Yeah.
I know the bad,
Mm.
but I know deep down there's good.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
and that's from top up to the bottom and everything in between.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, again, I'll use the word unfortunately. We are somewhat
Hmm.
persuaded
Yes.
and guided
That's true.
by the top. I'm not going to call it out, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
As far as
Yes.
the laws of the land,
Definitely.
you know,
Yeah.
for humanity, and that is somewhat of a guide of society.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
we always say, well, as far as the laws of the land,
Yeah.
government, that people are the government, and they work for us, but that's not how it is.
No, no, not at all. Yeah. Yeah.
we elect them, but
Yeah.
they're like they elect us.
They want power. That's all. They don't want, help us in the sense. Yeah.
So yeah, the fulfillment is there.
Yeah.
We find it within ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, I find it within myself.
Yeah. That's the
But
point.
it's
Yeah.
not on the collective.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes. That's the
That's it.
only thing we could probably do because we can explore ourselves, so we can make choices, and then we can realize, But meanwhile, people are occupied with, you know, living, making a living, and living our life, something like that. And also, all these disturbances are there. And also, some people may really make you not to do any of these things because they have created conditions for you that you have to survive them. you know so that like this inequality in our economic status. So many people cannot even make basic things, right? So they have to focus on that.
That's where I went to.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah.
it right there. What are we to do?
Yeah.
I think we hear on this app, and I hear people from all around the world.
Mm.
We all say, yeah, you got to work on yourself, work on yourself.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
But uh, uh, but we hear we talking about what we just said.
Mm.
It don't put a dent
Yeah.
into the collective.
It seems it's getting worse collectively.
Don't say that, Dr. Rao. Don't say it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, the culture, the wars, and the pollution, the things that they are getting, aggravating about destruction, more like, human lives. Look at all the people in the Gaza, how many thousands are killed and all that. So I'm kind of, our inner change will reflect outer change. like I'm accepting all the people inside as we are one human tribe, then I'll be able to react to events like this and support and help to relieve some of the suffering. That kind of awareness will be there. It's not about just my life, but about what is going on around me. You know what I mean? So if you have this knowledge about inner matters and don't allow ourselves to be dominated by these forces, then we can not only work on ourselves but also help to contribute. That's what I mean.
Yeah. When you say everything is getting worse,
Yeah.
so now if it breaks back down to that individual,
Mm.
the individual is surrounded by everything that's getting worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
As an individual, am I getting worse? Now I'm coming back. I'm working on myself. I've been working on myself, and I'm clear.
Yeah.
Now I have to get worse because everything else is getting worse.
No.
I have no choice.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because you don't want to degenerate just because everything else is degenerating around you. You could uplift yourself with your own intuitive awareness. Yeah, that's what I mean too. You're absolutely right, Christopher. It's not about the things that come at us, it is about how we handle them, how we react, how we gain our inner resilience and then face them. And lots of times that is easier than succumbing it up, being reactive and doing the same thing that they are doing. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, as individuals in this day and time,
Mm-hmm.
this is where we at
Yeah.
as far as going back and say, hey, I'm working on myself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be better. So not to be persuaded
Yeah.
about everything that's going around because everybody around me is mean. Do I have to be mean? You
No,
know?
no, that's the wrong way to go about it. You see, there's something that one of the sages said, Christopher, that helped me was this reaction that people had when all the things going bad for them at the World War II. Like Hitler was marching, he was occupying all the countries, including Poland and other countries. Then they went and asked him, "What's going on? This man is not able to be stopped." And then he's marching, he's conquering everything. Then the sage said, "Look, there is a creator. He created this world, and then he is going to take care of his world. What you have to do is what you are going to do with yourself, with your interior. Are you going to justify your degeneration by saying I'm reacting to it, or are you going to raise above that? So leave the world alone to the God, and He will take care of it, and you take care of yourself." That's what He said. That really helped a lot to really not to be angry, not to be reactive to what's going on around. Even in the hospital, you see so much. That is what really gave me solace and strength also. Okay.
Yeah, uh, uh, that's pretty deep.
Yeah.
As far as humanity,
Yeah.
again, in this day and time where we are in this moment, and it really hurts also.
Yeah.
That we being on this app, I be in the rooms in different cultures and different religions, and I hear the hurt.
Yeah.
In all the voices.
Yeah.
I hear in different subject matter, in topics, and it's hurt. Sometimes we be in room be so toxic.
Yeah.
People are hurt. People are hurt. Women are hurt. Children are hurt.
Yeah.
And this app give us a chance to, let it out.
Yeah.
And it's to me it's I listen. It's not a bad thing, but it hurts to hear.
Yeah.
People come on and people want to be trolls, or people want to come on stage and be rude, and
Huh.
we never know what's going on in people's life, but
Yeah.
people are hurt. Society is hurt. Been dragged through the mud. We continue being dragged through the mud, and I love rooms too that we can come in and have wonderful conversations.
Yeah.
But the majority of the rooms, people are hurt, man.
Yeah.
People are really, really suffering emotionally, spiritually, and financially.
Yeah.
And welcome to Earth.
Yeah, but this inside lighting or kind of lightness that can happen by finding ourselves, that's a blessing. Santosh, how are you?
I'm very good, doctor. I'm very good, and just here, just listening how you guys are talking right now, and you're always interesting. Your topic, the greatest fulfillment remains, is always available. Yes, so I also try to live my life in a holistic way. So it's very interesting. You guys are talking right now, and yeah. What I feel is, doctor, like you know a lot about this. What I believe is, we gotta do the things in priority in our day-to-day life, and what are the things that comes to your priority, and do the same way, so then you feel good. So for me, like I prioritize the thing always, family, health, and personal development, and these are the most important thing. Like if you are not fit and fine, if you are not healthy, so you can't do anything, right? So you have to be healthy first, and then after, once you become healthy, and it creates domino effect everywhere. So it helps you personally, it helps your family, it helps your business. If you start to make money, you can help other people as well. For people of cup, right?
Now, in the beginning, I did say various people have various fulfillment goals according to the stage of life, according to where they are, what they are doing, and all that. But this statement is about for those people who have gone through making a living, making money, and then really enjoying everything that they have. And then at the end of it, they say, what is left? Those kind of people can discover this. But if you employ this kind of inward orientation from the beginning, many people will be more clear about themselves, the direction they are going, and the pitfalls out there, and all that. That will happen. But then that has to be in the schools, in the culture, that has to come through. Basically, that's what I said. It is different for each person. What is fulfillment mean? What are they looking for fulfillment? How they go about it is also personal. So I mentioned that. But then I kind of took that Purusharthas from Indian philosophy, the four ways of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. What they are is making a living, and having some wealth and all that is called artha. Second one is the karma is like a pleasure, okay, innocent pleasures, right? Both these have to be pursued in a right way. That is the dharma. The thing is, these are okay at the time, but after they gain what they wanted to gain, they won't last, giving more satisfaction and pleasure. That's why they look for something deeper, and the deeper they found was to release your own mind, getting bonded and all. That's why they call it liberation, liberation of from the limitations of the life. So this is kind of pretty deep subject, really. But then it doesn't have to be deep. Everybody can pursue their fulfillment for the life stage that they are in, or the goal could be there. But then you can go after fulfillment by understanding some of this wisdom much easier. So like for example, somebody was asking me about midlife crisis of a gentleman, for example. I did a separate talk on the wisdom app from 4 to 5 o'clock, and 6 o'clock I came here. But then there, that gentleman, a friend of mine, he came and asked me about that. Midlife crisis is real, and people have done all those things that they needed to do, and then they feel like, what's the meaning? I don't have any purpose. I don't feel like exciting. I don't have. And then they may do adventure, or they may take up something like playing cards or thinking of all those things. They go but some people will really want to find out where they came from, what is death, what is life, and all that. Then the midlife crisis will not be there because they are really enthusiastic about bigger issues of life, existential issues. Then the whole discovery of new perspectives, they actually not only make them feel that they have enlightened, but also all these sufferings that they were going through, they don't matter anymore. You know, so it's going to be.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's going to be.
You're right, doctor. Yeah. I heard you. I heard you saying that midlife crisis. I have seen a lot of examples of having.
Yeah. That's what happens. A lot of people have this midlife crisis for sure, and my patients, a lot of them are above 60, and many of them, really, all the people, children are gone, and they are living alone in their houses, and for them, uh, coming to the clinic is the social visit. Usually 3 months once a time they come. They don't have any other life. They can't go anywhere. They can't create anything. So nobody wants them because they're old and they are not going to be helpful, and so many things, right? So when they come, they kind of went to me, how they feel lonely, how they feel there's no meaning in life, how they feel really pain of that loneliness too, and also discrimination, women, black race, or any number of people. They came and told me the pain that we are talking about. But there are ways for us to transcend that pain by understanding the deeper issues, which was expounded by the ancients. That's what I was very fascinated about, and that's what I was bringing. Actually, my life is more sane, more joyful, and more alert and aware. And then I do try to reach many people and try to help them. And whoever calls me, I talk to them. And usually they have a problem. And once I talk to them, if it's relieved, they feel happy and I feel happy. That kind of thing. So it's like I have fulfillment in so many things. But then I don't stop asking questions and going deeper. I'm amazed at the depth the ancients went in, and we were not really bringing them into our life. Not like a religion. I don't believe in that, but more like a wisdom from deeper questioning and finding out the answers. You know.
Yeah, that's sad. That's another.
Yeah.
That's where the hurt, another part of hurt come in. Yeah. The aging, the aging.
Yeah.
And how, what is that even more going to look like? Especially like here in the States or any other country, because the younger generation is going into not being connected.
Yeah.
Human connectivity. They're being more connected to technology.
Yeah, they're more wedded to the chat in the phone. They can't have a live conversation with other. That's true.
Right. They can't have a connection with the elderly. Yeah. Or where's the fine line of, like, my parents was aging, and my siblings. Yeah. What communication did we have? Yeah. Well, I'm a little older, but I'm talking about the younger generation. Yeah. How are they going to connect with they're not. They're elderly and the aging. They're gonna if they're gonna have to find some kind of connectivity in technology themselves, in which that's what the younger people are creating for them. Yeah. They're not creating a life where they're going to have human to human connectivity. They're creating a life for the elderly where they're going to have technology. They're going to have to talk. The elderly have to talk to technology,
Yeah.
or they're going to be alone.
That's very true, Christopher. That's a concern because we are giving value to a tool compared to a human being next door to us, you know. So I always talk about being a human first and then using the tools. Don't get lost in the tools so that they will rule you. Actually, that's coming to the stage where everything is an avatar, and the avatar will tell you what you should buy, what you should wear, and what you should eat and all that, you know. So that's a terrible thing that if you really make technology as the main thing, you know. So while we can use it, but then I don't want people to lose that inward sensation of who they are. That's why I'm making this effort to throw some things at them so that they can think for themselves and come to that, you know.
I think it might be. It's not too late.
Yeah.
But it's too late because the CDC already said that if the CDC said that technology, social media right now is almost a mental health problem.
Not almost, it is because attention deficit and poor focus, lack of concentration, lack of ability to develop the human relationship, and not able to eat well, and problems with the spouses, right? Marital relationships and all that. So there's so much going on in the mental thing. Did you see that TikTok was banned today?
Yes.
Yeah. So the problem is the content. It seems I was told yesterday in the news hour, the people who are controlling TikTok from China, Gate Dance or something, they are having a board members, the Communist Party members, and those people control the content. So they want the science and technology and all these good things for their youngsters, but then they're allowing the viral thing to go in America, you know. So these people want to control that a little bit. Of course, some of the content is pretty harmful, especially the suicidal rate, Christopher, that is increased because of the TikTok activities, some of them. So there are serious complaints about that.
Well, I can tell you what's about to happen. If they ban TikTok, I'll put some money on it. Somebody in America is going to create another TikTok to take its place.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What it is they have to reform it instead of banning it, you know, because there's so many people that are making a living in TikTok, you know. So those people should not be punished, you know. Maybe why don't you censor this content a little bit and make some guidance so that they will be more socially responsible. You know, some fun may be there, but then this suicide encouragement, that is kind of definitely, for me, it is going beyond the limit because young kids, they don't know. You know what they did with young kids? They told them, call your representative and tell them not to ban TikTok. So young kids are calling the Congress and they're asking who is the representative. Well, what would they know? How can you allow them to ask such a thing? They ask them, who is the representative? I want to tell them that you should not ban the TikTok because TikTok sent us a message. So,
you know, I mean, the government could be right, because we already know in social media and all social media, data is king. Data is king.
Yes.
And we put our data on there and they're using the data right now. They're all using this data for AI. There's no doubt about it.
And I'm doing a data analysis course. Right now, Christopher, I'm doing a data analysis course because I know how important the data is now.
Right. Yeah. So, but you know, if someone using the data for something else, then they could be right that they might be using the data for manipulation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they may caught it, they may understand it. They're like, No, because it's like eating ice cream, but within the ice cream is something that's going to hurt your health.
Yeah.
It tastes good, but it's going to hurt your health.
Yeah.
So should you continue eating it, and should you continue manufacturing it?
What I agree,
no.
what I agree with you is we should have some discrimination to be able to judge and employ our own discretion. Like, for example, I don't produce content that's going to be harmful to my fellow citizens. That kind of responsibility for society, for corporations, whatever we are doing, should be there. People dish out whatever they can without thinking what are the consequences. That's a problem. You're right. There goes somebody else who's going to come with the what's the TikTok probably. Who knows?
Yeah, well, yeah. Unfortunately, we as humans are not, especially the young, are not mentally and emotionally responsible. If someone is going on Facebook and videoing themselves hurting someone or killing someone, that says a lot about society. That's and how we using a tool.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use it for that.
Yes.
But somebody else will.
Yeah.
So that's like Mark Zuckerberg, when he went up there, he was like, hey, how was they pointing the finger at him? Don't you know people are using it for murder? Don't you know people, government pointing the finger? He was like, we're just a tool. How are we supposed to know that somebody's going to use Facebook and use it to kill somebody? I don't know. Well, what are you going to do about it? We're like, well, I mean, we can create something to do it, but that's society. Yeah. That's like people making cars, and somebody take a car and kill somebody in the car.
Exactly.
Do you sue the car company? Hey, do people use your car to kill somebody? Do you sue the car company? How do you know that somebody is going to use anything that you create to hurt somebody and get sued by it?
But in general, the Facebook or this other social media, they have become tools for a lot of people to produce whatever they want, and then they put it there without really realizing that it's going to do the harm. And some countries, I think Europe, they have developed certain restrictions so that they can weed out those things. That kind of policing, maybe a little bit that they were doing, that may protect people. But right now, TikTok problem is they are allowing these suicides to get worse. That's what they said yesterday. So,
yeah, I'm not a TikToker.
No, I don't.
I'm not on that at all.
I don't use that because I thought it was silly because all these dances and everything. What do I have to do with them? So I was not.
As my business grow, my company grow, I will be using, majority of the top social medias for my company. And I'm doing things positive. I use TikTok. I'll be, using our products, people having fun with my products and different stuff like that. Yeah. I will use it as a tool, to promote my corporation and the products and what I'm doing in the community.
Do you think?
But me personally, no.
Do you think this onslaught on TikTok they will survive or they will go away?
Say again.
You see, the Congress is trying to, send them away. They want to ban them, or they want to ask them to sell to us. So.
Yeah, matter of fact, I think I heard it just on the 6 o'clock news that Congress want to ban it, and the company is not going to sell.
Yeah.
That's what they just said at 6 o'clock. So it might change, but the company said they're not going to sell.
Yeah. All right. Let's hope everything went well. Okay. All right, Christopher. I will close the room for now, and then we'll see you again tomorrow. Okay. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Dr. Always nice. Pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye, Alka. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay.